It's not even in your subscriptions.
Josh Taylor is live. I just got a notification.
Hey, I'm in this stream.
All right, we'll give this baby a minute, guys.
Hey, make sure y'all mute the YouTube.
Yup.
Hey, Rick's in here already. What's up, Rick?
What's going on, Ricky?
Ricky Poo.
What is going on here? All right, guys, so we're just going to let this thing warm up a minute. Bear with us, and we're going to get started.
What's up, Jane?
So, let me see if I can update this thumbnail real quick. Still doesn't let me update the thumbnail. That's interesting.
What's up, guys?
Oh, already doing better. Nice. How y'all doing?
What's up, Wyatt?
All right, so guys, today I want you guys all to turn your books to Mark 7:28, and we're going to start off there. Oh, hang on. That's the wrong program. All right, no, we're talking about fishing tonight, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let me put that aside then. So what we're going to be talking about is snook fishing on the beach, guys. So that is what we're going to be discussing. It is prime time, as you know. There's a spawn going on. And if you didn't know, the snook moved to the beaches in large quantities. And they're fairly easy to target. How you doing, Rick? How you doing, Beastly Beast? James, Tobia? God, I hope I pronounce that. Your mother. Wyatt. Al-Assad. Hey, buddy. Wyatt, William, Caldwell, and Charlie. So, guys, dang, there's some names I ain't seen in a while. How you guys been? All right, so start with y'all's questions, and we'll see if we can answer them to the best of our abilities. With the three of us, I think we'll do all right.
Man, Rick.
Go ahead.
I was going to say light tackle is just fun. Period. What do you
I honestly prefer light tackle when I can get away with it. And obviously surf fishing is one of those times. You know, when I'm fishing the mangroves or something, I'll try to beef it up a little bit because the fish do have the tendency to find, you know, things to hang in.
Yeah, especially on the beach here in open water.
How about you, Dean? What do you like to throw out on the beach?
On the beach, small. The smaller it is, the smaller.
How about tackle wise? What size spinning reel do you use?
If you're talking, you know, spinning, then very, very small jigs, very small swim baits. You know, try to stick under 3 inches. That's usually what I try to do. So
yes.
The Z-Man, the BTB jigs are perfect. Voodoo Mullet are pretty sweet, the 3.5. I mean, I know that's a little bigger than 3, but it's small profile.
What's going on, Philip? What's going on, Smurf? Joan, David, how you doing, buddy? Mikey, can you send me a rod and reel? Mine was stolen. You could win one. Check out that giveaway. It's a pretty good giveaway. So make sure you join and participate in order to possibly win. It's 2 separate giveaways, guys. Once we get to 50K, we'll be doing giving it all away. So Mikey, the lures that we recommend on the beach are small bucktails. This is really common, small white bucktails. And what Dean was just saying, tell them about that Z-Man jig you were telling me about. It's a fairly new jig, Dean.
Well, they got the BTB jigs, and there are also ones called skimmer jigs. The skimmers are more weedless, but the BTB, it's just a little jig head with I don't know if you guys have seen the little rubber skirts that Z-Man uses, but it's just a jig head with the rubber skirt, and it's a small jig. I mean, maybe 3 inches long, and it's just got a small profile to it, and it's got good action when you barely move it, and it's got a good strong hook on it, and it's easy to use, and they seem to love it. You know, when they're very picky, which they tend to be on the beach, they're not focusing on food mostly. They're mostly focusing on breeding when they're out there. So you got to be, if they're going to eat something, most likely it's going to be just because it's something small right in front of their face that they don't have to put any effort into getting. And so they eat a lot of fry bait too when they're on the beach.
Yeah, sometimes when you're on the beach, they get complete lockjaw.
I'll tell you what, guys. So I went out to a beach the other day. Dean was telling me about it. I wanted to explore a new spot, and the fishing was interesting. I saw some snook. I did get a couple chasers. I caught one snook and a bluefish, but there were snook everywhere. Some of them up to 30 inches, and you could tell that they were feeding mainly on mullet. So you know what I said? I got there really late, talking 30 minutes before sundown. So I decided to go there first light the next morning, and I saw snook everywhere, guys. Very similar conditions as the previous evening, but we had a little more water, and the tide was just transitioning out. And let me tell you what, they would not touch a thing. I had a fly rod with a little Clouser minnow. I had a little bucktail. I threw little jerk baits. They would not look at anything. Dean's experienced something like this as well.
Yeah,
recently.
I actually, was it the same spot? It might have been. I don't remember. But actually, one of my videos, my previous videos, where I'm catching snook on the beach, you go there, and I went early in the morning, and tide was, I don't remember what the tide was doing, honestly, but it was moving a little bit, and there was a bunch of grass, but it was super clear, and they were everywhere. I could, every few feet I'd see one, and then also some giants swam by, but they were just cruising. They weren't even like stopping. They were just on a mission. So I couldn't even get a bait in front of them by the time I saw them. But I caught 2 that morning out of the probably 150 I saw. It was ridiculous how many I saw. But and then the next day, was the next day, or it might have been like 2 or 3 days later, I went back, and actually that time I didn't see a single fish on that same stretch of beach, like not a single one. It was weird.
That is pretty interesting based off of those tides. Hey, William, come on now. You said watching his idol. I haven't seen you on the page in a while. Where you been hiding, brother? Your mother asked, what time of day is best, and does the moon phase really matter? What do you think, Chris?
Of course, well, moon phase does matter. You know, you want to go for the new moon, and then the full moon. They feed more at night, as you well know. I do prefer fishing on the full moon also during the day. You do not, and it seems like every time I fish with you on a full moon, we do not have any luck. As far as for the time of day, especially with the snook, first light, and then right before sundown, just like pretty much any fish, and then just focus on the tides because they like that tidal movement. And then whenever on the beaches, when it's still, you know, the water, that you're going to run into what Dean was running into, where they don't even look at your lure. They'll just swim around it.
Well, I'll tell you, fishing full moons at nighttime, I've had a lot of success. And one thing you do is you fish around the major and minor periods during the full moon, and the fish really are actively feeding during that time. And then under the cover at night, you know, they're a lot less finicky than in the day, because I'll tell you right now, them snook on the beach, they could see you. If you could see them, they could see you. Matter of fact, I was fishing for them the other day, squatting down. If anyone was watching me from far off, they probably thought I was somewhat retarded.
Hey, what kind of leader were you using?
The other day, I actually downsized to like 25-pound test fluoro Seaguar.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that water's super clear, like you said. You got to downsize.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have to go to 2-pound test to get a bite.
2-pound fluoro.
2-pound fluoro.
With a mini rod.
Hey, Lois, how you doing? Christopher. What do I recommend for snook, guys? So for the beach snook, if you're not using a fly outfit, I would recommend a medium to fast action rod, maybe in that 7-foot range with a 3,000 to 4,000 series spinning reel and 15-pound test braid with a 25 to 30 pound fluorocarbon leader. That's the outfit that I would go with. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, no. Oh, Dean, go ahead, take that one, Dean.
Oh well, is you really, the thing is that it's finesse. It's hard because it's a finesse style fishing, but you need heavy enough gear to be able to withstand, well, the snook. They'll rough up your leader in an instant, you know. So you kind of have to. It can be kind of, you can use micro stuff like I could use a 7-foot medium light, you know, with a very whippy tip if I'm throwing small baits, you know, like I would use for trout. But at the same time, you know, that fish is just, you're just going to let that fish run. I mean, it's not like you have to yank them out. Like, you know, there's probably not going to be any structure or very few bits of structure. So you can let them run. But, I mean, I've seen people do that. I personally, though, usually I use a 7.6 just because I want casting distance. If I see that fish, you know, way up in front of me, you know, I don't want to sit when I throw my bait. I don't want that fish to see my line. I don't want that fish, you know, throwing right in front of it and bringing it right to it. You kind of want to get it at an angle so that the bait kind of, you don't want that line running right over the fish is what I'm trying to say, because if they see the line, they're probably going to get spooked. So you want it at an angle where that fish is going to intercept the bait without the line being in front of them. So you kind of gotta, it can get kind of difficult. Oftentimes they're so shallow along that the beach, they can be literally like right on the trough, depending on how, you know, what the waves are doing. Just something where you can sit there and cast accurately. So that's kind of hard to explain. I guess it's a whole different type of fishing, but something that is something you could throw a small bait a good distance if you have to try to get in front of those fish. That is the most important thing. So 7.6 is usually what I use, but a medium, sometimes, I mean, a medium is about average, but medium to medium light, something in that range, because you're throwing small baits.
I think Josh, what I'm trying to say is they're just super finicky. You got to have casting distance and you know, stealth ability. But also with the light leaders, you guys are going to want to be retying, you know, more often, or check that leader after every fish you catch.
Hey guys, just so you know, I'm noticing you here. Aaron, Stephanie, hello. Aaron, Neil, Jose, Phase Light, how y'all doing? Hey, I want to let you guys know, whoever's with us to the end of this live stream, I'm going to pick 5 of you guys and send you out a free decal. They're about an $8, $9 value. So we appreciate you watching. Also, guys, go follow Chris Canning, and Dean at 727 Fishing. Give those guys a follow. Be sure to turn on the bell notifications, guys. Lots of new content coming.
Hey,
so I hope. Yeah.
Question for you. You see Rick comment about that red tide in Sarasota?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, check it out. I noticed that we've been getting red tide reports. What are you hearing, Dean? I mean, I hear they're all over the state.
I've heard nothing but Sarasota, basically. That's, I keep on hearing south. We haven't had any up here yet, luckily in Pinellas. Yeah, I don't know why, honestly. This is the time of year that we usually get it, but luckily we haven't had any major storms really come through here, because usually what happens is that we don't have enough what are they called, plants, basically processing plants, so they overfill very quickly. When they do that, our lovely politicians here love to dump said sewage to get rid of it. And when that happens, usually within a couple weeks, we got really bad red tide. So this year, we haven't had really much of that. We've had storms, but nothing like a tropical storm coming through or anything. So we haven't had any up here. But down south, that's all I've heard, is that it's really bad down south.
I can tell you guys that algae is no joke, and there's some major blooms south of us. And the only way this stuff is going to stop is to sign the petitions that are going around, and to do our part. Because honestly, the runoff and the things that are happening with the sugar industry, I don't think it's right. There's a lot of people. First off, I don't understand why they've allowed it to go on for as long as they have, because, you know, we're a tourist destination. We have a lot of captains. Our beaches are pristine. It should be a top priority, but obviously there's a lot of money involved on this one. So the more that, you know, the more they hear it, the more signatures they get, the better off they'll be. So.
See, yeah.
Let's answer a couple of these questions here up here. William Caldwell, you're working too much, brother. It's going pretty good. Paul, you could definitely use boogers, but you got to have at least a 4-inch booger. Beastly Beast, what fly setup would you recommend? A nice beginning fly setup, first off, would be like an 8-weight. A conic reel and a temple fork rod. You can get it right at Bass Pro. And what I recommend, if you're a beginner and you want to learn about fly fishing, obviously you have YouTube, but if you want a more hands-on approach, you can call up Bass Pro, and they have demonstrations and seminars that you can go to, not only and you know, see it, but you could be hands-on, and they'll teach you how to cast, which is really neat. What do y'all think about fly rod? What's the go-to fly rod or setup?
Hey, I'm not too familiar with fly fishing. Never. I mean, my first fish on fly. Well, no, I take that back. I caught a bass on fly before we caught those snook, Josh. But I am not an expert in fly fishing. So take that one, Dean.
Well, at the shop I work at, I actually have this exact combo. We got some Akuma. Gosh, I forgot what the exact reel was called, but it's an Akuma. It's like $50, and then we have Redbone 8 and 9 weights that are right at about $100, and then or at least the 9 weights are 100. And we got the 8 weights down to, I think it's like $70. So I mean, it's a decent little startup combo. That's actually what I have, but yeah, that's before that. I haven't had anything fancy. I've just had Walmart setups, and I actually would like to get back into fly fishing a little bit more, but I've done some dock fishing with the fly, but I got to take it out to the beach because I know that's going to be one of the times to shine with the flies. I mean, I love that finesse style, you know, snook on fly is just fun, and I've caught a few of them, and I tell you what, that's definitely probably one of the best ways to start doing it is the sight fishing on the beach.
Yeah. And I'll tell you guys, make sure that you're really, you know, a lot of people go out there and they go on the beach and they think they have to cast, you know, a large or a far distance. And the honest truth, the other night I seen them, their backs were literally sticking out of the water. And when I tell you they were like 8 inches from the beach, they were like 8 inches from the beach. So that's why I said you want to be very stealthy, and you want to kind of spot and stalk. But if you spot them, there's a good chance that they've already spotted you. So you want to be very careful with that. Hey Josh, how you doing, buddy? Long time no talk.
Hey, I'm seeing a lot of comments about like baits and stuff like that. Why don't we go over top 3 baits for each one of us for beach snook fishing?
Shoot.
All right. You want to go first, Josh, or you want me to go?
Go ahead.
All right, so my top 3 would probably have to be a small bucktail. I've actually caught them on flukes, so any type of fluke, fresh, even if it's a freshwater fluke. And then I've also used love lures. Those are always very productive for me out there.
Yeah, this reminds me of like high school. I'm pretty sure Chris just copied off my paper.
Shut up.
So he nailed it on the head, guys. I like the little white bucktail. That's probably the first thing. And Mustad has a new one that I've been fond of. You know, it's a little 1/8 ounce jig head, you know, white with a little flash in it. That's super effective. Also, the little jerk baits, just all white. That works really good. I don't like to use a whole lot of weight. If I can get away with no weight, that's what I prefer to do. And then I would say my third will be It'd probably just be like a Little John with a mission fishing jig head. Those would be the three. What you got there, Dean? That's a big raccoon.
Pretty much. But I'd say for me, I love those Z-Man jigs. So the BTB would be one. Another one would be if I'm talking about swim baits, the Voodoo mullet. I'd switch out the hooks on them. I don't like the hooks that come on them, so I usually put like a Mustad Ultra Point treble on it. They don't straighten out if you hook up to something decent. But and then the other thing, I like throwing Mirodines, and not just Mirodines, but mini Mirodines. Very tiny. Again, switch out the hooks if you're going to be snook fishing primarily, because they will stretch out on you. But I mean, the Mirodine, the action and how finesse it is, I love throwing those three. Otherwise, maybe if it's a little bit choppier and you're not really seeing too many fish, I like throwing like a jerk bait, like a X-Wrap or something, a smaller X-Wrap. And that tends to work for me pretty good too.
Hey, you know what I got for honorable mention is a DOA shrimp. You can never go wrong with the DOA shrimp.
What's going on with this thing here?
Hey, Josh, Tim is calling you out.
Who?
Tim.
All right, where's it at?
But in his comment.
He said, "Hey Chris, do you have an app to make Josh's head smaller? Does anyone realize how big his head is?"
You know, big heads mean big brains, and you got to have a big head to accommodate such a thing.
Hey, I got to go off of Dean's mirror lure. Josh was using a mirror lure the other day, and I'm pretty sure he had the hooks switched out, and he still couldn't hook a fish to save his life.
Well, that's just Josh, though.
Listen, I'm not sure what Chris is talking about because there's no proof.
No proof.
Actually, there is proof.
Tons of proof.
We got to destroy it. Hey guys, I had an absolutely horrible day the other day. We went to film the grouper video for you guys, and man, I swear I couldn't pay to have a fish hit my bait. But that's all right. Chris has to win one every once in a while, because let me tell you. But you know, he only wins when it doesn't count. You know?
Yeah, there's no challenge, no pepper involved.
Oh man, hey Dre M. Yeah, I can hook you up with a new reel if you win. The challenge is on, guys. I hope you are participating on that challenge. It's active and rolling, guys. That's right, Caleb. Tell them. Well, if y'all didn't know already, Tim Luva is my dumb little brother. So if you see him commenting, guys, just ignore him. I might even just block him. Oh, let's see. Let's read some of these comments and catch up here.
Oh, you see this comment, Tampa Bay Fishing Man? Hey, I don't feel too bad anymore because Josh, shout out to Josh for helping me get the rod back and making me stay on the pier till we got it. And then Dean hooked me up with a new rod. So I'm not that mad about it anymore. But as far as you catching a Stratic off the South Pier, that's pretty crazy with a St. Croix Premier on it.
Nice.
It's just a lucky day for you.
Did you get it serviced so it doesn't crap out on you in 2 days?
True.
Oh, yeah. Hey, was that reel and rod any good, Tampa Fishing Man?
Yeah. Did it have any like seaweed on it? How old did it look?
Let's see. See ya, William, if you're still on there. What about hook size? Well, if you're, another option, guys, is live bait. So you have shrimp works, and mullet works, and greenbacks work. So your hook's going to be determined based off of that. Now, if you're using smaller baits such as shrimp and greenbacks, I would go between 1/0 and 2/0, and I usually like a circle hook to help limit damage on the fish, especially these spawning fish. Most of the ones that you're seeing right now on the beach are males, but there are also the larger fish are the females, but the smaller fish, those are the males.
Oh, the rod was like new, and then the reel was in bad shape. Well, I mean, you could try and clean that reel out the best you could, but the salt water's probably going to eat it up. The rod's like new, so that's good.
Well, that's good. As if it's not waterlogged, then it might last. Who knows?
Yeah, I tell you what, guys, my rod was in the water for like 6, 7 hours, and somehow it made the integrity, or it weakened the rod, the blank, because that thing just combusted whenever I hooked on to a fish.
Hey, let me ask you guys, how y'all been liking the content lately? You know, we're trying to accommodate and you know, do some of the things you're asking about. I don't know if y'all been seeing my community tab, but I've been putting out a lot of polls. I like to interact that way. So let me know. Let me know your thoughts on here.
I tell you what, Aaron, as much as the time of day, they said it basically sunrise and sunset around there, but the beach, that's a secret. You gotta find your own beaches, but any beaches near a pass, pretty much. If you can,
Yes.
if there's a pass there, there's probably going to be fish because I mean, you're not going to really find many snook, unless if in a place like in the middle of if there's a 10 or 15 mile stretch with no passes, you're not going to find them halfway through. You're going to find them within the first couple miles, if that. Probably not even that far, but passes are where they're going to be. So that's a big one.
Well, I'll tell you this, guys. You could go to any popular beach right now, Clearwater Beach, Madeira Beach, and you don't even notice it. These snook are swimming right through your legs. So go out there with some polarized glasses when the sun's high, 10, 11 o'clock, and you'll see the snook swimming all around people.
Oh, the key is they're in the breaking waves right before you get out of the water. So like you said, Josh, you're walking right over them, and people don't even know. And a lot of people are trying to fish the sandbar and the trough when they're actually just staged up, literally right on the where the waves break.
Yep, that's very true.
No, you don't need to find bait pods. Those fish, they're not really, as I think I've mentioned this before, they're not really focused on eating when they're on the beaches, so they're not chasing down the bait. The reason is one of the reasons you want to go finesse is because you're trying to get a fish that isn't really in the mood to eat. And so if you find them, they're usually with a group. They're usually not alone. There's usually 2 or 3 males swimming together. Sometimes I've seen a group of 10, 15 males swimming together, and then there might be like a lone female swimming around, but they're usually not looking for food. They're usually looking, well, they're breeding, so they're not really messing around with that. So you throw the small stuff, trick them into eating just an easy meal. But no, you don't need the bait pods around to find them.
Go girls. Thank you. Appreciate you watching. Caleb, I appreciate that, buddy. Your mother says, do you fish without visible bait pods, or should you keep looking for bait pods? I don't even look at bait pods at all, honestly. I actually look for the snook themselves, and if you have polarized glasses, you won't miss them. Randall, Anna Maria Island is beautiful. There's a lot of snook over there. There's a lot of great fishing over there. I don't think you'll have a problem finding snook on the beaches, especially over there on the pier. What's that pier? One rod and reel pier. Is that right, guys?
Over at
Anna Maria. I think it's rod and reel.
That's where we got bait that one time, Josh, isn't it?
Yeah, but the snook are sitting right under that pier. If you use like live ladyfish or mullet, you won't have a problem finding snook over there. What are you saying that, Dean?
Oh, my wife. Yeah.
Hey, wife. Dean's got a baby coming, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say if y'all don't know, Dean's got a baby.
I thought a water broke there.
Oh no. I would have been like, sorry, see ya. No.
Hey, what's going on with that? Give us an update, Dino.
Thursday we went to the OB, and everything's great. Her fluids are up. basically the baby's completely healthy. Everything's good. So we're going to go in. I'm going to work all day Monday. And then after I get off of work, we're going to go in to the hospital, and she's going to start the induction process. So Tuesday is technically when they're actually going to give her all whatever the medicine is that they give her to start it. But so within the next, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere in there.
Well, congrats.
I'll be here.
We'll keep you in the prayers, and I hope everyone else does too. Just say a prayer for Dean and his wife that everything goes smoothly.
Amen to that.
This is Chris, back with another video.
What are you doing, Chris?
I was clicking on a notification I got over here.
All right, low tide flats fishing from Christopher. Oh, Christopher, you know, it's a little off topic, but if you look for potholes are the key and transition points. You know, you're looking for areas in which the fish can transition from shallow to deep water. And typically that's like the rivers, the potholes, or little cuts. Thoughts on Shimano Sedona 2500? Good little reel. I used to have a bunch of them. They'll last you a few years in the salt water if you take care of them. They're great for mid-size redfish and snook, and really good for trout. But you start getting up there in the bigger fish, and you might have some trouble with that reel.
Hey, so Caleb's question is, do we think snooks have polarized eyes to see through the water? I don't know about polarized eyes, but they do have eyes designed to see through the water, guys.
I mean, I think they could see, you know, just fine, but I think they have a lot of other things that help them to pinpoint prey. You know, things such as their lateral line. You know, they had their vision, they had their sense of smell, so vibrations and things like that.
Hey, Josh, you see this the Skyway Fishing Pier from Jacqueline here about the Skyway having the dolphins are no joke.
Yeah, those dolphins. Oh, me and those dolphins. Oh, we go back a long ways. I'll tell you, the only time I like seeing dolphins is at SeaWorld.
I wonder how dolphins taste.
Hey, guys, those dolphins out there, they're extremely intelligent. And the thing is, they teach the smaller dolphins how to steal the baits. And right now, it's almost impossible to fish out there for grouper or anything. The dolphins are just notorious. Hey, what's up, Jerry? Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say Smurf Jones asked about, what is it, jack mackerel and wheat bread for chum. I use that all the time growing up. That's like an old go-to.
Absolutely. Tropicana fish food is ideal with a little of the whatchamacallit oil. Help me out, Chris. What?
Menhaden oil.
Menhaden, that's what I was looking for. Dre, I would go for reds and trout. I would probably go with something at 3,000 or 4,000, maybe a Spartan, a Stratic. I mean, you could try the Sedona. Also the Penn. Yeah, the Penn Battle is always a good choice. And then the Daiwa BG has been really popular here lately. They got a really great gear.
Hey, you got the Pissy Fun Spartan.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Hey, did y'all like that last Pissy Fun test on the reel test? I know a couple of you said that you wanted to see, I don't know, more controlled test, maybe even measure the, you know, the damage on the washers and things like that. Well, I mean, I could get the proper tools to do that. So if you want to see more in-depth things, let me know with the reels, and when we do the test, I can do that.
Hey, you guys have no idea what we went through to film that video. So give Josh props and make sure to give it a thumbs up because it was quite the adventure.
Yeah, Chris almost died.
We almost lost the drone, fishing rods, hands, fingers. Then Josh, you made your hand bleed on the simple. What was supposed to be the simple test?
Just pulling the line and an 80-pound test pops. I don't know how that happens, but okay.
I tell you what, one reel that I've been messing around with that I use a lot, I actually use the Daiwa Fuego. And the first day I had it, I got a hook in my finger and I dropped it, and it was in the water for like 3 minutes or something like that. I finally got it out, and I wanted to see how well it worked. So all I did was the basic wash down. I didn't take it apart or clean it out or anything. And it's been like 8 months now, and it's still like new, like it never happened.
Well,
And
with
so
the Fuegos, yeah,
I
with
literally don't
with
clean it
the
on purpose.
Fuegos and ballistic, they're sealed, right?
Yep, they are. They got the magnetic oil seal. The Fuego is their least expensive reel with it, and it's again same price as the BG. It's more of a an artificial slash. I mean, you can bait fish with it, but it's not like the BG is meant more for like bait fishing, and the Fuego is meant more for like that, more finesse, artificial throwing all day sort of thing. So, but that reel is an amazing reel for $100, and I'm very impressed with how it's held up so far. And yeah.
Going off of that, the BG, that's been my only really not complaint, but just minor thing that I noticed. It's definitely got a bigger profile. It's not the heaviest of reels for its profile, but it's just got a bigger profile, so it's a little bit more to carry around than a lower profile reel.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not the LT frame. So the thing is that a lot of Daiwa's newer reels are the LTs, and that stands for light and tough. And they're smaller reels, more of like a Shimano size reel. Like
Yeah.
so, that's basically what it is. All of Daiwa's other stuff, the Saltist, the BG, those type of reels, they're definitely a big, bulky. They're bigger. Not necessarily heavy, but they're a lot heavier than the LT frames, and that's going to be your major difference. So the Fuego is the $100 reel with the LT frame. The BG is the $100 reel. That's just the $100 reel. So they're also made of completely different materials. The BG is made of metal. I don't remember the metal. Also carbon fiber as well, and the Fuego is actually made with a very similar material to the CI4. It's a type of carbon fiber. It's not as light of a carbon fiber, but it is just as strong. And then their ballistic is made of their Xeon, which is it's the lightest stuff they have. It's even lighter than the CI4 material. And so that's going to be the differences with it. But yeah, it's they're definitely, for $100, very hard to find a reel that competes with the Fuego or the BG.
So I want to address a small thing that a lot of people have been asking me lately. And they're asking me, hey, why am I standing behind a company such as Pissy Fun and doing product reviews for them? Well, there's a couple different reasons, guys. First off, they're a smaller company, and we've seen a lot of these other companies for a long time. Secondly, they're attempting to make affordable reels at a very good quality. These reels companies right now, $300-400 a reel. It's nice to find a company that actually creates a quality product in that $40 to $80 price range that everybody can afford. Their whole objective when they created their business was to make a product that everyone could buy. And so that way, more people could get out there and enjoy the outdoors, and they don't have to worry about going bankrupt just to purchase, a rod and reel. So another thing that I really like about them is they listen. I know you watched my honor video. I blew up that gear, bulldogging it and fishing it the way I fished with my Stratix for my entire life up in cover. But they listened. They took the feedback. There was no flack. And they addressed it and they improved it with their new reels. So any company that'll listen, and I'll tell you, the customer support has been really good. That is why you've been seeing me support the Pissy Fun brand.
Yes, I will totally agree with that, Josh. I mean, I've full on witnessed kind of the evolution of Pissy Fun ever since they started working with you, and they've just listened. And I mean, any business that's willing to listen and grow and change and evolve is one that, you might want to work with.
Absolutely.
I've never used them. No, I probably should.
Well, yeah, check them out, Dean. I think they're, I'll let you use some of mine and see what you think. But let's go up here and answer some of these. Chris, take it.
Let's see. So, artificial baits from Aaron. We answered that earlier. I know Dean's all about the Z-Mans, flukes. I said the gulp shrimp, bucktails, small bucktails. So we already went over that. Chase asked about favorite releasing an inshore rod. I did not notice that. I actually haven't followed that, but I do follow favorite, rods. We were just talking about those the other day, Josh. So that would be interesting. Maybe we should pick up 1 or 2 of those for the channel. I know they're really loud, Chase. I like their look. They stand out really well.
Thank you, Rick, for that, buddy. It's much appreciated.
You got anything, Dean? Go ahead and answer some of these questions too. They're coming in now.
Yeah. The top waters for Snook.
Yeah, take that one.
Top waters are great, but I will throw a top water when you're not really supposed to throw a top water. Like, I absolutely love them, but on the beach, that's probably not the best time to do it, because as we have kind of talked about before, they're not really focusing on eating, so they might not be they're probably not going to be as aggressive. If you can get them on a right tie with the right phase and they're in the right mood, yeah, you can get them on top water. I've actually noticed that whenever I fish top water for snook on the beaches, I usually just catch trout. I usually don't even catch the snook that I see. I just catch the trout I don't see. But when it comes to the snook on the beach, I tend not to use top water. I'm pretty much throwing just my small finesse stuff. Although if you get into the pass itself, and there's some, there's some structure, there's some deeper water in the actual passes or near the passes, I'll throw some top waters in the right circumstances, and they definitely will eat them. But the ones that are on the beach, you pretty much you want to try staying away from top water.
Well, the best advice I can give you guys is to make sure you improvise and you observe every time you go fishing. Maybe you're going to target one particular species, but if you pay attention, you can usually tell what's going on. The other night when I went snook fishing, my top water would have worked right on the beach. And the reason being is because some of them that were really feeding were feeding off the beach a little bit. And what they were doing is they were blowing up on little mullet schools. And if they're out there hitting on finger mullet, a little top waters are a spook, they'll destroy that.
Yeah. And Caleb, yes, on the seawalls, I mean, just snook fishing in general, yes, top waters are one of my favorite ways to catch them. They're, when they get aggressive, their blow-ups are incredible. It's definitely a lot of fun to throw top waters for snook. I will say I got plenty of video of top water fishing for them, and I tell you what, I got some where I was in my favorite, I was in a lake fishing, actually. I was throwing a skitter walk, and when it hit, not only did you hear it sound like a bucket hitting the water, but I mean, that thing ripped drag on a Calcutta. You could hear the drag screaming on the bait caster. I mean, they are amazing fights, and they're great with top water. But yeah, it just depends on the circumstance. Sorry.
But you're good. One thing Gary asked, preferred artificial for jetty fishing, the red-tailed hawk. Guys, I'll tell you what, that's probably the best overall jig, or, I just think that's the best lure for big snook, especially on jetty.
Hey, Rick, thanks for joining the live stream and, listening to us. I'm glad we can be of value, and giving you good information.
All right, let's see what else we got. Chase asked, what do we think about the favorite releasing inshore rods at ICAST? Guys, I haven't really gotten to favorite too much. I don't know a whole lot about them. Matter of fact, I was supposed to be at ICAST this year, but next year we'll be there with the apparel. So I have to explore that a little more before I comment. Can either one of you say anything about them?
Well, just like I was saying earlier, Josh, I mean, we don't know too much about them, but I would like to get our hands on some and maybe get them on the channels and, you know, do an unboxing and maybe a review for you guys, because they definitely are a popular rod right now. You know, they're very, like I was saying earlier, they're just loud, they stand out, and they're different. So they're kind of changing the rod scene as far as other rod companies are having to step up their game aesthetically with their rods.
Well, they do stand out. I can't speak for their, you know,
Durability.
their power, yeah, and their durability, because, you know, a lot of that launch was based around that Guggen squad, and it seems like anything they touch right now is popular. So I can't go out there and say, hey, you know, this is a great rod just because it looks good. You know, it has to have, in my opinion, it has to be aesthetically pleasing, but it also has to be strong. And, you know, have all the factors such as good guides. I like rods that use like Fuji guides, AFCO guides. You know, there's a bunch of different variables there. And, of course, the action has a lot to play. And that's why I'm a big fan of St. Croix.
I've actually never heard of these rods, so.
Favorite?
Really?
My
No.
God, Dean, what? Have you been living under a rock?
Yeah, Dean works at a tackle store and never heard of favorite rods.
Never heard of them.
Wow, they used to have a different name though. I forgot what it was, but yeah,
You said the Guggen squad uses them?
Yeah.
they were just
Oh, are they the ones that the red, white, and blue?
yeah, they have like camo.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. They look sweet. You're right
They
about
do.
that. They do look sweet.
They do, and I think that's a big factor. Hey, Doc Runner, I appreciate the subscription, buddy. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the family. Your mother, the last time I caught a snook was like 3 nights ago. I didn't post a video because I went out, I caught a bluefish, I caught a snook, and I had a few chasers, but I was out there so late. The light quality was bad. I didn't do any B-roll. It was just more of an exploration trip. So you'll see some footage here soon, though. How about you guys? You want to answer his questions? Last time each of you caught a snook. I know Dean, if you look on his channel, he just caught a bunch of snook the other morning. Chris,
I do not know when the last time I caught a snook. That's a valid question.
Chris has probably never caught a snook, so we'll just skip that one.
I've caught plenty of
Seen it.
I've caught plenty of snook with you. Hey, your mother, just go check out all of Josh's snook videos. I'll appear in one of them.
One of them.
Hey, one of them. Oh, you're giving me the shout out, Dean. Hey, one time me and Josh did try and go snook fishing, but then he had this elaborate idea to go cobia fishing. I don't know what he was thinking.
And Chris got destroyed. Go watch that video, guys, on his channel. I mean, I just sat back. There was a point where I was just like, you know, I don't even barely drink, but I was like, give me a beer. I'm just going to sit back, prop my legs up, and laugh.
All right, Dean, we were out there till like 5 a.m., no joke. But I did have the bites. Josh got one bite, and it was a stingray, and he was too lazy to reel it in and handed me his rod like, here, you reel this thing in. It's sitting on the bottom.
No, it's because I knew it was a stingray, and I felt bad for this guy. He hasn't caught a fish in like 3 years.
Oh, no.
I'll tell you what, most of the snook that I've caught have been at night. Over the past couple of years, and it's been I've had difficulty recording. There's sometimes I get videos, but probably more than half of the snook I've caught in the past 2 years that I would have got on video, I couldn't just because of the time of day I was fishing. So, but a lot of my videos where I'm actually fishing, a lot of them are snook. I think probably more than half of my videos are snook related, but absolute snook are my favorite.
Well,
now, sorry, what?
I was going to say, Rick, that St. Croix Legend Extreme, I think, is by far one of the best inshore rods. It might be the best rod you could buy. I mean, sensitivity, strength, durability. It is a beautiful rod.
I don't know, Josh. You know, that Barbie rod we used in the mackerel video is one of the top inshore rods, and it's hot right now.
Yeah, you're right. And, you know, you get a lot of power with that because it's like 3 foot 2 inches. I mean,
No,
it's got a
that
smooth drag.
1-to-1 gear ratio.
Good stuff. The Triumph rod, Doc Runner, is a great little rod. I have no complaints with the St. Croix Triumph. Had not had any issues with them. I'm planning on hitting 50K sometime soon. It takes a little while. I'm gaining anywhere from, I don't know, 70 to 100 subs a day. So by the end of July, we'll be fairly close, I think. Well, I appreciate you coming aboard, your mother.
Yes, sir.
That's a great name.
Your mother, if you go back to each one of our channels when we were doing a lot of snook fishing, you'll see plenty of snook content. We had a lot of fun.
Personal best snook stories. Well, one night I went out, Jessica, and we were out in the boat. We had a storm. I was in a smaller boat, and we were out at the markers catching mackerel. And we had a storm roll up, and the bay just turned nasty. Well, needless to say, it got very concerning to the point where we started taking water over the bow of the boat. And for a minute there, I thought we were going to have to grab our life vest. But luckily, we did get out of the bay and get back into a canal area, and the water was flushing out. Well, I took a little mini spook and a Spook Junior, and I casted it right up along the mangroves, a spot that I've casted to 1,000,000 times and never caught anything. And I caught somewhere near a 40-inch snook. She exploded on it, had a light 3000 series tackle, about a 20-25-minute battle, and she came up boat side. I got to take a picture, revive her, and it was a beautiful story.
Hey, for the release, asked how you find me and Dean's channel. If you go to your search bar and just type in Chris Canning, or go to Josh's recommended channels, I'm on there. And Dean, if you just type in Fishing 727, he'll pop right up, and make sure you guys subscribe to him. My personal best snook actually came off when I was snapper fishing under the Skyway, and I was using relatively light tackle, and I was just out there with my family a long time ago, and it was only like a 35-inch snook. I'm by no means a snook expert. I've always caught mine off the beach, and the ones off the beach don't get too big. What about you, Dino?
I was not actually trying to snook fish. We had a guy, me and my buddy, that I've done a lot of videos with on his boat, where I did most of my night fishing with him. We went out, and we were going to go for tarpon around Gandy Bridge, and we were just screwing around until the tide started moving a little bit more. So I just had we had some greenbacks from earlier because we were flats fishing, and we went up to this dock light, and there are a couple fish in the boat, mid-20s, lower 20s, your average dock fish. And I had a God, what was it? A 7.6 medium light Terramar, like not a rod you would use for hauling fish out of a dock. And it had a 2500 sustain on it with 15-pound braid, and just a flats combo. It wasn't anything special. So I just pitched a greenback into this light, and when I got hit, I'm like, oh sweet. I was using 30-pound fluoro with a size 1 Mustad Ultra Point circle, so very small circle. And I hook up to this fish, and I'm like, okay, this isn't a small fish. I starts taking drag, going straight for the dock. So what I did was I reeled up as tight as I could. I grabbed the spool and leaned back, because it was going to get me in the dock, or I was going to somehow pull it out. So I grabbed the spool so no drag would come out, and I literally just leaned back and pulled as hard as I could. And I watched the fish's head come out of the water and fall back on itself. And I just picked up line really quick to get it away from the dock. And I mean, as soon as it came out and it started doing head thrashes, I knew it was a big fish. And I was freaking out, because I was pretty sure it was the biggest snook I had ever hooked up to. So fought it for about 5 minutes, finally got it in the boat, and it was 37, so not a giant, but a good fish. And was just on very, very light stuff that I wasn't expecting to catch it on. It was on a dock too, which you get some big fish on docks, but they're usually not upper 30s. And
Forgot that last part.
what do you mean?
When you sat up in your bed and you realized, oh man, that was just a dream.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah?
I want to give a shout out to Caleb for the release, and Aaron for subscribing, and checking out me and Dean's channel, and also your mother. That's awesome. I'm glad that we could give you the information that you needed, man.
That's not a dream right there.
I know. I'm just pulling.
Dean, that looks like a little finger mullet, man. That looks like you blew it up on
It's a
Photoshop.
little finger mullet right there.
Woo! That's a healthy one, D. My God, you look 12 years old right there.
That was May 29th, 2017. I was a little bit, I had a little less weight on me then.
Man, I don't think I've ever fished the Fort Pierce Inlet.
I know it's very similar to like, what is it? Isn't it like familiar like Sebastian type look?
Yeah.
I'll fish Fort Pierce. It's crazy.
It's
crazy.
Fort Pierce is crazy. I fished Fort Pierce. I fished the what are they called? The not the dams, the spillways around it, and it is definitely there's some big snook there. There's some monster snook there.
So how does he catch them?
I mean, usually when I go there, I've been there twice. Bucktails, like your flare hawks. And then I know that's where they use a lot of the spool techs. I'm not a big fan of spool techs just because I don't want to spend $20 on a lure that I'm going to probably lose that night.
Come on.
Also, one of the things I tend to throw out there are the headlocks jig heads, 1.5 to 2 ounce, depending on the current. With the biggest hook that I think it's 8/0 extra heavy. And I'll throw a big 10-inch soft plastic. So either like a BKD, a hoagie type bait, or like the Z-Man, God, what are they called? The mag swims. Those big baits. And those snook, they're incredible out there. They absolutely love those big baits.
Spool tackle.
Yep.
Those are
Thank
great.
you, Aaron. Yeah, thank you, Aaron, for coming into the shop. We appreciate all the business.
Hey, so Caleb had a good question here off topic about why did you guys start your channel? How about we go one by one? Josh, you can start it off, man.
Well, guys, I started my channel even before I started my business. I enjoy teaching. First off, I have a very big passion for the outdoors and the water. I absolutely love fishing, and I believe it should be instilled in all of our youth. I think if it was, we'd have far fewer problems than we do today. But I created the channel in hopes to help both people, learn to fish, but also interact and allow me to learn how to fish. And today, I still do it for that purpose. I also use it for branding my business, and that's the primary purpose that I started it.
I guess I'll go to my story. That was a good one, Josh. So my story, or my channel, I started way back in the day with a buddy of mine, Matt. So if you go back way to my old videos, you guys will see Matt in them. Matt's still one of my good friends, but I pretty much do the channel by myself. But I also had, I fell in love. I was always a fisherman. I grew up fishing, but I fell in love with filmmaking. I did a lot of other things back in the day, filmmaking. So I just kind of transferred it over to fishing, and I'm glad I did because I met Josh, and I've also met Dean through the internet. So it's pretty cool what the internet can do, and I know we all support each other's channels.
Hey, so let me just say something real quick, guys. By the way, I met Chris. He didn't give you the details, but I started Salty Scales, and I get this email like I get every day, like 100 emails, and he said, "Josh, I'm going to be fishing on a collegiate level in college, and I'm going to be doing all these fishing tours, and I really want to support your brand." He goes on to tell me how great of a fisherman he is and how he's going to do all these tours. And so I invite him down to Ruskin to work an event and to do a meet and greet with me. And I like the kid. You know, he brings a Salt Life merchandise under the tent, but you know that's nor here nor there. But anyway, the funny part about it was this kid's never fished anything collegiate level or a tournament, but
Come on, man, Josh, you lying to the people?
he turned out to be an all right cat.
Dude, I think Josh just like being friends with me because I like donuts back in the day.
Well, I don't eat donuts. I eat everything else, Chris.
I looked like I ate a donut. So if y'all go back and watch any of my old videos and you don't recognize me, just don't remember me for how I was. Remember me for who I am.
Yeah, you'll probably be like, "Are you sure? Am I sure I'm at the right place here? Is this the right?"
I bought the channel off these two kids.
Yeah. Hey, what about you, Dean? Why'd you start your channel?
I had recently moved back from Orlando. A couple of years. I grew up here in Pinellas, and then I moved to Orlando for a couple of years, and then I moved back. And I was living with my parents. I just started dating my wife Jess, and on my way back from a job interview over in downtown St. Pete, and I lived in Largo at the time. I got hit by a car over near Johns Pass. I was on a moped, and screwed me up pretty bad. I'm still not over it 100%, but I basically was bedridden for a little while, and I got to a point where I was just bored out of my mind, and I loved fishing, but I really wanted to get into it a little bit more. So I basically just I hobbled out to my back porch, and my first video was something about, I think it was how to tie a blood knot for or not a nail knot, excuse me, for fly fishing. And like, I barely fly fished. I just wanted to put something up. Then the better I got, the more I just wanted to fish. So I would walk down to and at the time I actually had to use a cane. So I was walking down to a pond near my house with a cane. And it was I would go and I would fish it, and then I started catching snook out of the pond. And I was like, you know, freaking out when I caught a 10-inch snook. It was ridiculous. But you know, it started basically from there, and I just started fishing and kept on making videos and kept on fishing, and I got better and better, and it just morphed into that. Basically, I started getting a little better with editing, and you know, I just love doing it. So that's basically how it started. You know, I was bored because I had to lay in bed for a while.
Very cool. Well, hey, Rick, that's not cool, man. I love watching them eat peppers.
I know you do.
Oh man, good stuff,
I think
man.
you just like me getting it in my eye more than eating it.
That was terrible. I don't wish death on you, Chris. I just want to have a good time out there. So,
oh yeah, Chance is on here. What is up, dude?
Hey, Chance wants to go fishing with you, Dean. You better pick up your phone and text him before Friday.
Before Friday. Well, I'm having my baby on Monday or Tuesday or somewhere in there, so I don't know how much fishing I'm going to be doing.
Come on, Dean, get a backpack, a baby backpack, and take your baby out there.
I actually have one of those too. I'm gonna do that. It just might not be right away.
yeah, you got to wait a good 8 months for that, guys. Maybe a year. But hey, any other questions, guys, about snook fishing? I know we're coming. Well, actually, we went over our hour mark. Wow, that was
that hour mark, baby.
Holy cow. Post your comments here. So let's go ahead and do the 5 decals real quick. The first 5 comments right now would get the decal. So just put decal.
Uh-oh, it's race time.
Let's see who gets it.
I bet you it's Rick first. Come on, Rick. Don't let me down. Don't let me down, Rick.
Everybody fell asleep.
Nobody wants a decal.
Chance got one. All right, Ricky, your mother got one. Rick, Caleb. All right, that's it. All right, Aaron, I'll send you one too. Now that's it.
Oh no, you grandfathered him in. Now you got to grandfather all of them in.
Oh man, now I got to give everyone one, huh?
Oh man.
All right. All right. So here's the thing. Each of y'all email me, joshua@saltyscales.com. And if you email me your address and your information before 9:15, I'll go ahead and send out anyone a decal that emails before 9:15.
All right, I better open up my email and send you one real quick.
Joshua@saltyscales.com, your shipping information. First name, last name, your address, and we'll get you out a nice decal. I appreciate you guys sitting on here with us and listening to our boring combo.
Come on now, they had a good time.
I don't know about you. I think I'm pretty interesting.
You are interesting, D. And Chris, he's just a funny looking character, so we all get on here and laugh at him. Right, Chris?
Heck yeah.
Well, listen, guys, make sure you turn on the notifications. Hit that bell. Obviously, it worked because some of you showed up. I'm not sure. When we used to do these live streams, we'd get a lot more people on here. So I'm not sure what YouTube's doing. They got a new algorithm. It's kind of weird. But I think we're going to try it again next Friday. What do y'all want to do a topic on next Friday? Let me know real quick.
That's a good question. We can do grouper fishing because the season's coming to the end.
Well, the folks on here could let us know.
In the morning, actually. Oh, see how that goes.
What are you doing in the morning?
Grouper fishing.
Well, I appreciate that invite.
Well, it's top secret.
Yeah. That's
Oh
ridiculous.
my god.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Dean don't want to share secrets, man.
Hey, you want to bring out your boat? I'm sure me and my buddy would love to take you out.
Let's go.
My boat's busted right now, so.
How do you have a brand new boat that's busted?
Well, my one of the cylinders went out, so.
You just got it, Dean, like 2 days ago.
That busted like 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dean, at the rate you're going, we're gonna have to start calling your boats Dean's Dinghies.
Holy cow, my email guy is blowing up. I don't know where all these people came from. You guys telling your family or something?
Oh, Josh is gonna. Hey, you're gonna regret this. People are
Oh,
gonna.
just all the people that aren't commenting.
It's only before 9:15. They have to do it before 9:15. So there's only like another 10 minutes.
Some people won't listen. You'll get emails for 4 days.
Oh, well, I know they will, but you know, it is what it is. You got to be fair. I appreciate everybody, though. I think this was a very successful live stream. I hope you guys gathered a bunch of information. We'll come up with a topic. Fishing mangroves is not a bad idea. Redfish is my favorite fish, so that might be an option. We'll converse among the three of us, and we'll figure out a topic of discussion and probably be on next Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, sir.
Is that enough notice for you guys this time, or too much notice? You think I should do it the notification a few days prior to the live stream? Papa no.
Well, I mean, as long as we'll start doing them every Friday around this time, they should pick it up.
Oh, by the way, guys, I think Sunday it'll probably drop. It's a kayak video. We went and looked at some kayaks, so and we did some water testing. I think it's going to be pretty cool and informative little video. So I hope you all appreciate that. All right, guys. I appreciate you all tuning in, and until next week, we will see you on the water.
See ya.